Hey guys, Rusty K here. Just wanted to explain about what this video is that you're going to see. It's segmented into smaller parts that I've stopped and recorded, and you'll see me going from one part to the next. But it's all about this Shelby Mustang. As you know, I had some frustration, so I'm going back and I'm sort of chronicling the process that I'm taking along the way to build this model, but just wanted to sort of give a brief overview of what this video series is going to be. I apologize for some of my camera angles, and my fat hands are going to get in the way when I'm painting, so beware. But any feedback would be great. I'm gonna sort of enjoy the process along the way here. This is more therapy for me than anything else, but hope you enjoy the video. Thanks. Hey guys, Rusty K here. I'm gonna go ahead and start my series on, or chronicling my build of the Shelby 66 Mustang. This is gonna be kind of a choppy series just because I'm going to do a lot of small incremental videos, but I wanted to basically chronicle the whole process that I'm doing, and any helps or hints or tips along the way would be great. One thing that I am going to do this time around that I have not done in the past is glue some of this stuff, the sub-assemblies, together before I paint. Some of these get the same type of paint. And what I have not done in the past is glue them together before I paint it in a hole. And I'm going to use on some of these parts on the chassis, I'm going to use the 5-minute epoxy process. So what I'm going to do first, I think, is after looking at this, the chassis and some of these other parts here, and I'm sure you guys all do this, but this video series that I'm doing with this is basically therapy for me. So you guys get to come along for the ride. So sorry, but you have no choice. But some of this right here, like these right here and this right here, they all get glued onto the chassis and then they get painted black. In the past, I have not done that. I basically have painted everything on the trees and then glued them as I went along. And a lot of times I wasn't scraping the paint off when I would glue, and some of these could have been glued together before painting. I obviously have glued the engine block together and stuff like that before I painted it and stuff like that, but I wanted to go ahead and get some of these other parts on the chassis done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and pause this. I'm going to go ahead and cut these off the tree, and I'm going to set up my epoxy once I do that, and we're going to go ahead and get these glued on here. Now what I'm not doing this time is I'm not going to, and actually be perfectly honest with you, I've never really done, is sand a lot of this stuff down. I'm going to be basically trying just to put this together, and I'm not worried about so much of being perfection. I just basically want to try to get a nice clean build done fully. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this stuff, and then I'll take you along when I go ahead and I got to get the body washed. This still needs to take a bath. Some of this stuff still needs to take a bath, so I'll probably do that here before I glue everything. But I'll go ahead and start getting this cleaned up. I'm not going to worry about sanding this down. I'm just going to go ahead and get it washed up. Like I said before, I'm not looking for perfection on this. And then I'll go ahead and see. I got to figure out if I have enough of my candy silver base to, I think I do, to get this thing primed. I used this on the GTO, and I've used about half the bottle, maybe a little bit more than half. But that body was a lot bigger than this, so I think I'll have enough. I hope so. But I'm going to go ahead and pause this video now and then cut some of these parts away from the tree and put together my epoxy, and I will be right back. Thanks. All right, guys, welcome back. I went ahead and, this is a first for me too, I went ahead and mocked up the two pieces. I'm not good with auto part names. I can look them up here, but I mocked up these just to see if they would fit, which is something I don't normally do prior to. Everything seems to fit okay. I have also mixed up my 2-part epoxy, which is the 5-minute epoxies. Just before hitting record here, I mixed these up. So these are ready to apply. That should be good. I've also got my micro applicator, micro brush that I use for, I'm going to use to glue these parts on. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Sorry, I'm not the best cameraman here either, but I'm going to go ahead and get these pieces glued on here. Like I said before, I'm putting this together as a sub-assembly prior to painting because these are all going to be a gloss black. Make sure you use this 2-part epoxy in a well-ventilated area because the stuff does smell and it's strong. Okay, so go ahead and apply this. I'm going to come out of camera here for a minute just to get these applied. Get that in there. All right, so I've got that in there. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to turn this around on this side and hit it with a little bit of epoxy on the inset here. Just so I can get a nice hold. This is the first time I'm using this 2-part epoxy on this type of sub-assembly, which I should have been doing the whole time. I was talking to Todd H. and he'd recommend that I do this. And I'm sure you guys all do this already. So, like I said, I'm going to be boring you guys here with my novice skills here. Okay, so I've got that on there. I'm going to give that time to dry. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to, actually I could probably do this now while that's over there as long as I can get these in here. So I'm going to apply my, I'm looking to try to get a very strong hold on these parts because these are the parts in the past when I was voicing my frustrations that I would have a hard time for them to hold on the model. And like I had said before, I was painting all these parts separately, and then oops, let's get a little bit too much there. I was painting these separately and then not properly scraping the paint away to glue, and that was my own fault, and I've learned through that. But I'm going to go ahead and pull away from the camera again just so I can get a better look at this. Alright, come on. This is where I got to work a little quicker to get this in here so it doesn't start to set on me. Okay, that's in. That's in. And that is in. Okay. So I've got everything set on that. That's in place. The other parts down here are still in place. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and let those dry, and then I'll be back for next step. Thanks, guys. All right, guys, while I'm waiting for those parts to dry on the chassis, I'm going to go ahead and glue my engine block together here. This I normally use the extra thin. And I just normally go around all the edges here. I don't normally have any issues with the engine block holding together. This, to me, extra thin. Seems to work well. Put some on this side too. I don't know if you guys put them on both sides or not, but I do. Put a little bit extra on the actual notches that are going to go into some insets. Yeah, sorry for my camera work. I am not the best cameraman in the world, but I'm going to go ahead and let that dry as well. And then I'll sand this up a little bit and get some of that rough stuff off there. But like I said, I don't normally have any issues with the engine blocks. Pretty standard, pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory on how to glue these together. I'm going to go ahead and let that set. Alright guys, I've got this stuff dried. And I'm going to paint this my gloss black. I'll touch up where I've got the alligator clips at. But this isn't anything spectacular here. I'm just going to use a rattle can for the gloss black. Make sure when you're painting it's in a well-ventilated area, of course. Sorry if it's a little loud. I have my booth on. This will only take just a few seconds just to get this painted. Just a couple seconds to set up. Just a nice little mist coat on there. Part isn't rocket science. Rattle cans, I tend to do all my black parts, big black parts with the rattle can. Top coat here. I didn't get that well reeled on it there. Sorry for my camera work. But this is, like I said, I'm painting this the first time that with these pieces already attached. I don't normally do that, and it may have been one of my mistakes coming in. Alright, we'll go ahead and let that dry. Alright guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and lay my silver base coat, candy coat on the Mustang. Now, if anybody's never used this before, you need to use this candy silver base if you're ever going to use any Outclad candies. Some of you have seen the GTO that I did. I was really happy with the candy on that. The directions on this, obviously to shake well before use. You're going to use 20 to 30 psi on a clean, bare plastic. So you don't want to put anything on this before you lay this down. And then you're going to, let's see, you're going to let it cure for an hour before using the alclads. I usually let it cure for a couple hours, but I have several different airbrushes, but for most of my stuff here, let me get this. I use the Neo dual action brush. I came out here and got this cleaned up. I haven't used this in probably about 6 to 8 months. I came out here and got it cleaned up to go ahead, and this is the Iwata Neo. Love this brush. So let me go ahead and just get started with this. Let me turn this on. Sorry for the noise. Actually, you know what? How I'm going to do this? Let me grab my droppers. Let's see if I've got a dropper up here. Give me 1 second, guys. I have a ton of droppers here somewhere. So that's going to spill coming out of there. Give me 1 second. If you don't have any of these come in handy when you're filling up your airbrushes. Also, you do not want to thin down this outclad at all. Let me grab some of this over there. It comes ready to go, so. Okay. Now, excuse my my camera work here. Now remember, you're just going to go very light mist coats. If you've never worked with these outclads, these candies, this is my second time working with them, and I absolutely love them. At least I did on the GTO. We'll see how the Mustang comes out here. Now, I didn't do any work to this body at all, which, like I said, I'm not going for perfection here. I am by no means a professional painter. I've only been working on models for a little over a year. So this isn't really a tutorial as much as it is just a chronicle of the Mustang being completed from A to Z, I guess. It doesn't really say exactly how many coats you're supposed to put onto this. I guess it would be entirely up to you on how many coats you want. I used about half this bottle on the GTO. I'm going to go ahead and use the rest of this bottle on the Mustang. The stuff's not the cheapest in the world. For this Outclad 2, the silver candy base, it's about $12 a bottle for an ounce. And from what I'm gathering from use is you can get probably two bodies out of it. I don't know if I should be using more or less. I don't know. I'm just sort of learning as I go with this. You can see it's starting to coat nice. Just gonna let that set for a couple seconds here. Again, this is not a tutorial for sure. A lot is just me making this series is pretty much therapy for me, so I can maybe go back and review my process. Now, if you've ever shot the Outclads for chrome parts, which I've done a lot of, you want to make sure you do shoot that at an angle. You don't need to worry about that so much with the primer or the base coat. And with those, you're going to use a gloss black base before you use any of the chromes or the steels. Sorry for the lighting on this, guys. I do this in my garage. I'm starting to get a little bit heavier with my coats. Love the Neo airbrushes, the Awada Neos. Now the one thing I'm not doing on this is I'm not doing the hood, because I'm going to do the hood in a flat black. We'll see how that turns out. So I'm not doing the candy on the hood. I'm going to do a flat black on the hood. This is going to be the candy blue. Let's see if I can get that light a little better in there. Getting just about down to the end of this bottle. This will be it. I'll go ahead and brush this full cap on. about out of this cap full. Up underneath the. That's it. All right, so I'm going to let this set for a good couple hours, maybe even overnight. We'll see, and then I'll work on the body color itself. I'm going to end up running. I have some Alclad brush cleaner that I'll run through this, get this all cleaned up and ready for paint, and I will see you guys soon.